Sit on your lap, Dada.
Okay, yeah, you can sit on my lap. Oof.
Eh.
I recently made a video comparing the Sony a6300 to, which is about a 3-year-old camera, to the Canon M50, which is a 1-year-old camera. And my conclusion was the M50, you can check out the video, it's had a fair amount of engagement based on, I'm sure, the fact that I have a very engaging personality. You can check out the video, but my conclusion is that the a6300 has better performance as far as image quality and sensor performance. At the same time, I think the M50 is a better family camera for most people. What, Leo?
I have to go pee.
You have to pee?
Yeah.
Okay, hold that thought. After I made that video, a couple of things happened. The most specific one I'll point to is a friend of mine was driving to work and he was about 5-10 minutes outside of town, and he texted me and said there's a snowy owl in a tree on the side of the road. There's a snowy owl up here. As soon as I got here, my Canon camera battery died. We waited for a little more light, so he's making another journey out there. He did let me hook up my camera to his 400mm lens, although, like I say, my camera battery, the battery was dying, so I just was able to snap off a couple. It's one of the cool things about this area of Ontario is these snowy owls really descend on us during the winter. It's February 1 right now. And I tried to get pictures of this owl, and I realized something that I'd kind of realized before, but it made me acutely aware of the fact that for still images, there's not a good way to get very precise focusing on the M50, because you can switch to single point autofocus, single point focusing, but the point is really big and you can't make it smaller or larger unless I totally missed something. You move this point around, the problem is that point is way too big, and so I couldn't get an image I was really happy with. Pair that with the fact that, like I say in the video and have said again here now, the 6300, the Sony a6300, I would take over the Canon M50 anyway. And so I realized, I don't know why this just became a story, a narrative. I'm going to have to cut a bunch of this garbage out. But I realized something as well, and that is that with the M50, I pretty much had turned to always using it with the adapter, and I used it with DSLR lenses, the 55 to 250, super wide angle 10 to 18, Canon 50mm f1.8. So I thought I'm always using the M50 with the adapter. The Sony a6300 overshadows it in everything that it can give me, and I thought, well, I would really like to give a DSLR a try. I've never actually owned one. So I thought, well, the DSLR that I would want would be the Canon 80D. So I thought I'll put the M50 with the 3 lenses and the package. You can go back and see this package that I won with the M50. It came with 3 lenses. It was a nice package in a box, all nicely, kind of a collector's item thing, which I won on Instagram. Maybe I could trade that whole package for a Canon 80D. I was listening to the M50 on Kijiji, and I thought at the bottom I'll just say, you know, like, I would also trade for a Canon 80D. The Canon 80D is still a more expensive camera than the M50, so I thought there's not going to be a lot of people who are really maybe going to trade. As it turned out, there was somebody out there who had an 80D and was interested in the M50, so he sent me a message, and long story short, we met up and it worked out, and it came with a lens, which I was not really expecting. I thought maybe I would just get a body only of an 80D. So the free M50 I won back in September has now turned into a Canon 80D, and I'm very happy with it. So how does it compare to the M50? Personally, I like it a lot more. I think it has more capability in stills for photography. From a video standpoint, it has basically identical capabilities to the M50. Practically speaking, the 80D is like a DSLR with an M50 inside of it. I traded a 1-year-old camera for a 3-year-old camera, but the 3-year-olds like playing together. What I'll do is I will film some odds and ends with the 80D and and you can kind of judge for yourself how you think the footage looks. I think it looks indistinguishable from the M50. Only if you were comparing them actually side by side would you be able to tell the difference. Which means that the best quality still goes to the Sony, but that's kind of well established. This camera does say I have still 6 hours and 20 minutes remaining of record time, so we could have ourselves a good chat. We could cover a lot of ground in that time. If you have questions, M50, 80D, 6300, I'll answer them. I was going to be home pretty soon, but actually it is, let me see what time it is. When did I say you were taking your nap? Can you say goodbye to the good people here?
No.
Can you say keep it real?
No.
Hey, what is that? Don't put things in your mouth. That's Leo, that's a choking hazard. That's a Lego.
No.
Can you say yes?
No.
Say no.
No.
You said it. For your own frame of reference from the previous shot, this is shot on the Canon 80D. You can see it's a much wider shot. Way over here you can see that window, and way over here you can see up the stairs. So you want to build something truly permanent.
What does permanent mean?
Permanent means it stays forever.
And something that's the same on both sides.
Something permanent and symmetrical.
Break.
I'm gonna make a cappuccino. Do you want one?
What's a cappuccino?
Yeah, that's latte art, folks. Kind of overkilled it on the foam, didn't I? This is a nice shot. Not because I look good, but because usually I feel like it goes too bright, but here it's not too bright. Coffee in the afternoon. One big area of advantage, one big advantage area. I don't know why I insist in using the word area in this grammatical construction. One place where the 80D definitely excels hugely over the M50 is also battery life. All this does not undermine what I said about the M50. I would still kind of recommend that if somebody were like, came up to me and said, what's the best sort of family camera? Because everybody just will reference me as the authority on everything. What's that Enneagram number where people just kind of think that you know everything? I'm not actually that number. I self-identify as a 9.
Eat something.
What do you want to eat?
You get to pick.
You know, I think you'd probably be much better off waiting until Mama gets home from the grocery store, because we are pretty much out of things to eat. But I think she's probably going to bring some snacks home. You could have a banana. Do you want a banana?
What do you think she's gonna bring home?
I don't know, maybe more bananas.
If she was in Michigan by herself, she just bring home not that much bananas. She only bring home one banana.
Yeah, well, that was she forgot that she had that. You're not supposed to take fresh food over the borders.
Was it okay to bring?
It was an accident. You know all about accidents. Just how, like, in your Star Wars book that you wrote, bad guy shot somebody by accident, right?
No, it's not a bad guy. It's actually a good guy.
Stormtroopers are bad guys.
No, they're good guys.
No, stormtroopers are bad guys. This brings me to my final point, which is that my next video is going to be Emmett's Star Wars book, his fan fiction that he wrote. And you're not going to want to miss it because it's a pretty good plot line. And he did all the illustrations himself. And he wrote the text, although I actually physically wrote it. And it's a pretty good book. And that video was filmed on the 80D, so if you want to see more 80D, there's 3 years worth of 80D footage out there. But you want to say anything about it to get them to watch?
No.
You don't want to give them any spoilers, what to expect?
You say the book.
It's called, what's it called?
Star Wars book.
It's called Star Wars Book.
Let's see if this one is bigger than this one. Oh, this one is bigger.
Is it?
Yeah.